What type of metrics do you rely on?
Well, reporting is key, and what we try to do is really make it plain English. So there's only really a couple things that a small business cares about. How am I doing? And that's the summary of, here's my overall spend, what I'm getting for it, and one thing we do that's unique is we estimate how many sales or leads they're getting and calculate out what the value of that would be. So the small business that's spending $200 a month wants to know, we generated roughly $600 worth of sales. If we're off by 50 bucks here or there, well, that kind of thing isn't that important to a small business as long as they know they're getting their money's worth. That's more important to an Amazon or somebody like that. And the next thing we show them after how they're doing across all their channels is key metrics. They can dig down deeper in the reporting to find out what's my cost per click or anything like that. But the most important section after how am I doing is how am I doing compared to other people? So are people like me, am I at the top of the batch or the bottom? We give them a report card and a grade of A, B, C, D, F, that kind of grade, because it's easy to understand. And then finally, we tell them opportunities for improvement. And so if there's room for them to spend a little more and do well, we'll tell them. Maybe it's on Google, maybe it's on Bing or another channel, Facebook. But if they're doing just fine, we'll also tell them that your budget is fine. So they know that they're doing all that they can. They're getting a good return for their money. And that people like them aren't doing better. One of the things about small businesses is they really like to know, am I doing well for where I am? They don't have a professional marketing person, and that's the kind of positive reinsurance we can provide as well. So the peer benchmarking aspect, we're comparing them to other people, that's also unique to our platform. Completely based on thousands and thousands of small businesses that have signed up and allow us to compare their data anonymously in the background to let everybody compete against the big guys more effectively.
Is this somewhat related to programmatic, or do you do any programmatic in your company?
Well, interestingly, Google auctions, Facebook auctions, these are all essentially programmatic. You set some rules and then that's happening dynamically. So yes, right from the get-go. For most small businesses with small budgets, those are the sort of low-hanging fruit channels that they need to harvest first. And they also don't have the resources to do the kinds of pixels and conversion pixels, remarketing pixels, tracking pixels that they need to be truly effective in some of those larger areas. But we do, for clients spending a little bit more, with a little bit more sophistication, extensive work in programmatic RTB buying. What we try to do is focus very, very specifically on things like retargeting through those networks. Very high leverage for clients that are already driving traffic through their own little Facebook community, maybe some light advertising. Tracking those people around the web and remarketing to them can be the first step. We'll also seek out known customer pools, like if they know that they're targeting moms with certain affluent households that drive to work, whatever the kinds of targetable things we can do in remarketing. Since we're buying small amounts, it's challenging, but we work through various real-time bidding networks and aggregate up quite a lot of buying power, so we do have access to that. Generally speaking, the first step for most of these guys is an effective search campaign and an effective social campaign. And then on top of that would be remarketing, where they can get a lot of leverage from what they're already spending.
Do you see programmatic moving to television in a meaningful way? And what about addressable?
I think it's no question. I think the problem that television has is they've got blinders on and they don't realize to the user the same commercial on video, on YouTube, or on Hulu for that matter, is exactly what they're seeing on television. So for the vast majority of the actual viewers, there's no difference. And what we're seeing as the distribution channels blur, things like Hulu, for example, showing the same commercial, but with a more lean forward experience, we see occasions where the price is higher. So we're going to look at more of the quality of the experience and the quality of the placement. And as more and more video inventory becomes available, we'll be looking at things like, is it autoplay, or is it something that the user selects? And that will define the engagement and therefore the value. What I think we're going to see is more and more programmatic. The promise of cable has always been that hyper-local addressability, but it's never been totally fulfilled because they never had the demand from the lower level advertisers. But right now, for example, we work with Time Warner Cable, and one of the products we've developed with them is a video product that, among other things, allows them to take their local cable advertisers and expand them onto YouTube and Facebook video. It's the same user, the same target audience, but now it's essentially programmatic. We'll buy that on TubeMogul or whoever else if we need to. Once we've kind of solidified the demand, it makes sense to find those people, that target audience, wherever they are. And the real debate is going to be on, why am I paying for an autoplay unit that nobody ever saw, that was jammed in there by a desperate publisher online? The good thing about television is we know the person has to have that time slot allocated. Whether they're sitting on the couch watching the video or running to the bathroom or making a sandwich, we don't know. But we already know that the price reflects that blend. So online video has the challenge in proving its value in the way that television has already at an acceptable level. But the lines are blurring faster than people realize. We're indifferent to it as a digital provider.